Hello, my name is Scotty Cousin, and I want to say thank you for buying a Scotty Cousin Art Critters original print. Now these are awesome, really great to make, and I love that I'm doing it. It's just really cool to do. But today I'm going to show you how to install one. First of all, you should always look for the perfect spot in the yard, like in a tree, on the trim. There's one on the trim right behind you right here. On my house trim, I'll show you how easy that is. When your package comes, you'll come with either two short rods. It will come with two short rods that are in the critter itself, and then two longer rods. Those two longer rods are for putting in the ground, because you want more in the ground than you want in the tree. So the trees are the shorter ones that will be in the animal itself. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you're putting that on tree or a house trim, you would need to pre-drill that. Now what you want to do is use a colored mark slot or a colored pencil, something that'll show up on a tree. Mark where the hardware is coming out of the critter up to the tree. Put two marks so you know where to put your hardware. Mark those. And then we would take the rods out of the critter to the rods will be where they need to be in the critter when you get them. So just take those out and ever so gently take the pre-drill with a 7/64 inch drill bit, either on palm, oak, or house trim, if you'd like. It would make it a lot easier and easier to install. Hammer your rods in and make sure you go all the way into it where it stops, because you want to get a really good rod in the what you're putting in. Make sure it goes in a windy vent. Make sure it's level. Kind of eye it up, and then what you're going to do, make sure it's straight up and down where you have the critter. Get a bullet level and take your bullet level, make sure it's level. If you need to adjust it, adjust accordingly. Do the same to the bottom. Get it to where it needs to be. And just take a while, just take your time. You'll see it's level. Up and down it's level, and it's plumb going from the corner to corner. Now, see those channels in this little critter? That's what it's going to be sliding in on. You can't really mess it up because there's a channel everywhere. So if it's tight, that's still okay, because it's going to keep it up in a high windy vent. Now, if you wanted to get those rods out, if you ever wanted to replace it somewhere else on your tree, take up some pliers and then pry it out of your tree. You're going to bend it, that's okay. You see it's bent. Just straighten it out with your pair of pliers as straight as you can get it. It'll be fine. And then you can reuse them and move the critter anytime you wanted to. Still have the rods saved. Now these will get a little corroded after a little bit of time. If you need new hardware, it's just an easy, simple fix. Bend it back. If it's bent, then you save your rod. Now, there is a lawn rod, and these are the longer rods. Those are for the garden, if you're putting it in soil, because we need more in the soil than we would in a tree. So stick those into your critter. Make sure they're level. Make sure you have a lot of rod. Bend your knees as you're putting it down. We'll go in crooked. And then grab the rods from below to install into the earth. Now, if those rods are keep moving up every time you try to put it in the grass, use some hot melt glue gun and put it in the channel before you put your rod in, and then that way you can push down on the critter into the garden. And you could also use Gorilla Glue or E6000. That'll work too. That would have to cure overnight. Hot melt glue gun will do it instantly. Hello there. Thank you so much for buying a Cousin Art critter. I really love making these. it was just such a great experiment that went so great. And the thing about this thing is that there is unlimited possibilities on where you can put these. It's just in how you compose them with your lawn is everything. Getting your family's inspiration and where they think they should put these, and your neighbors, and it just becomes this segue into such conversation of why it's even there. But I wanted to cover some stuff, and these are just little tidbits of information I think you should know when you're installing these. First off, the sun is very intense. This stuff is corrugated polypropylene. Now, it will last. How long? I really, who knows? Since I've been doing it, nothing's really happened to them, with the exception of some original paint when I paint it on come off. But these things are really, really hardy, and especially because they're printed and manufactured in a really great studio manufacturing plant. And these things, I think when they're in the sun, I would say try to look for spots out of the sun and tree canopies. But if they are in the sun, they still will last a long time. But I just like to cover that, the sun will do its thing to almost anything. So what you want to do is take great care where placement is great. Now, if it's in the sun, no problem. Just get it in there and have some fun. The way to, if you're ever trimming your trees, make sure that you take this thing off the tree first before you trim, because that's sometimes not done, and it'll save your critter too. So when you're getting these critters, make sure that your supports are level when you're putting them in there, and then it'll slide right on. If it doesn't slide right on, and it's kind of tight, that's still okay, because it keeps it up on the tree when high wind events happen. So have a great time with these cousin critters. I really love making them, and keep smiling and make your neighbors smile and everybody else that sees them in your yard. Have a great day.